Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here. Welcome back to evercrisis. We're going to be talking about the Sephiroth and Lucia's banner that came out not too long ago, but pretty long ago. People are still asking me to update this and go through it, talk about a wish list, so we're going to do that. Again, anniversary less than a month away, like September 7th or something like that. So I would just say for that, easy, skip, no problem. Are these weapons good? Are these costumes good? Yes, we'll talk about why they're good, but with anniversary around the corner in any gacha game, you just don't touch your blue crystals. Unless you're a huge fan of that character and you really want that costume, or you feel like this weapon will work for you, for the content currently and the future, then go for it, because the stuff here is going to work. These are great costumes, or great weapons, but compared to what they should be releasing, it might fall short of your expectations. Still very viable. They will be used in the future. They're going to have their moments, but anniversary, man. This is the one time. Zoom in. I'm just pushing all the wrong buttons on my Steam Deck. So let's talk about these two costumes and what they do and what they're good for. We're gonna start with Lucia, because Lucia is pretty straightforward. She isn't specifically made for anything currently. We're gonna talk about like no wish list, because it is pretty much utility. But costume, Resident Evil Ada. My god, this costume's amazing. I love it. There's so much going on about it, but it reminds me of that. So if I was a Lucia fan, I would be pulling, but I'm currently only going for the OGs that I really care about, and not really the three new guys. So for anyone that's a Lucia fan, this looks great. What does it do? It's got poison resist at 100%. It's going to be very niche. This is not going to be used in a lot of quests. I would say 95% of the content is not going to need this. Future content, they're going to make a boss that says, haha, you got poison, but we do have Esena. So even then, it's still going to be very niche. And especially because it's only a one character, where usually the dragon AoE poisons us. So having it just on one character seems kind of odd, right? And then when you put a whole team with poison resist, you're losing out on your DPS damage, your healer utility. So it is cool to see this, and it is going to come useful somewhere, just not for a lot of the content. So to me, it's a great R ability. It's just not a necessary R ability at the moment. Alluring Ploy is a very interesting one though. It gives physical and magic defense plus 20%, which is huge for survivability. And that's why I say the Lucia's costume and weapon is used on any setup, right? Because she is a DPS, but she also got so much support that she's there to help your DPS do the maximum amount of damage. So you don't want to have to worry about her, and putting on physical and magic defense up, especially with that new critical threat we have with the Behemoth, where he does both magic and heavy physical attacks. Same thing with Bahamut, right? His summon does physical and magic attacks. So yeah, this is huge. This is really good. This is the kind of stuff I want to see with Arcanum, right? But they gave you physical and magic attack plus 10%, so this can be used on any setup. Not a 20% mastery or 35% Arcanum, but 10% for anything. And we've seen this for like Red 13's Hellhound. It gives 15% both on two elements. So overall, great costume because of the survivability, and it can be used for any setup, any element, right? Even non-elemental, but it's very not necessary. Like if you were to pull for Lucia right now, costume and weapon, your game wouldn't change that much. Will this be used for people who already have her setups? Yes, it will help here on this quest, or I'm gonna take off this costume, put this one on because I need to survive. And then when it comes to the weapons, same idea. It's gonna be used for certain moments. So at a base one copy, Nightjar, there is Sigil Break. I think every weapon from this point on should have Sigil Break, so you always have that Sigil Break available, even if it's a utility weapon. There's no point putting 20% back here. I feel like Sigil Break should always be on every single weapon. It's so good to see. I love that. So 5-star, one copy is going to give you physical defense down mid to a single enemy, and if you have a buff on you, which is very possible with AoE buffers showing up more now, or multi-buffers, right? If you do, magic defense is decreased from low to mid. And then if you OB6 it, it's high for physical defense, and then it's mid to mid for magic defense, and OB10 it's still mid to mid. So all you really need is an OB6 copy of this, and it's going to do its job. Its stats aren't the highest. You're missing about 80 over here, and then when you add all the multipliers, that's like in the hundreds of attacks you're missing. But since she's utility, that doesn't really matter. So for overall, like I said, it's a debuff weapon. Sometimes the enemies are immune to magic defense and physical defense, so it's going to be a very dead weapon. What is incredible about the weapon, though, it's only 3 ATB, for double. So when the enemy isn't immune to physical defense and magic defense, you apply both of that. Your summons, your limit breaks, they benefit from both debuffs. Just like double buffing your character physical and magical, your limit breaks will do more damage. Not only that, it's a 3 ATB with the diamond sigil and a triangle sigil in the back. So you get to hit two very common sigils, especially these diamond ones are showing up more and more. For only 3 ATB, putting a debuff and breaking that sigil phase on a lot of the summon fights, you'll notice this is very important. So this just gets an S ranking because of that. This just having 3 ATB, double utility, and a sigil in the back. Now, when it comes to the R abilities are interesting. It's got 62 HP, which honestly is huge. If you put this on a main hand, you're going to be rocking 80% more HP. If you put this in anyone's backhand, you're going to be rocking 45% HP with a little bit of utility, not too much. This is not going to really help anyone, right? Because you're not going to hit this 15%. You're only going to get 8%. So in the R ability factor for this, not really. For survivability, yeah, like I said, her costume gives 20 magic defense, physical defense with HP, so it's a utility character setup. This isn't something you should go towards and pull for yourself. This should be wish listed until it's OB6, and it makes Lucia have that one extra piece of utility knife, right? A pocket knife. You have another part you can pull out. So very cool to see. Very good setup in itself to put in different setups. But to pull out of your way right now, especially with Anniversary, not worth it. Fantastic though, but not worth it. Now, when it comes to Sephiroth here, Sephiroth, yes, his setup is worth it, 100%. He is going to get an Arcanum here at Earth ability damage plus 35%. He's got Magic Ward, survivability. This is the combo I want to see from this point on, or more when it comes to Arcanum setups, right? We don't need that extra boost physical attack, magic attack, unless they really screw up the R abilities on some weapons, and they haven't really done that except for like maybe one character. But for every other character, having survivability is so important. I hate mixing around my materia just to get magic defense up. Like I did the critical threat in co-op, and all three of my materias were magic defense up. Nothing else. There was no way to boost attack unless I had some RNG rolls, but I lost like 1,000 attack just to survive, where you can just equip this and you're up 15%. With the high wind, with guild weapons, you can stop worrying about magic defense. So I want to see more of these, and if more, boost this up to 10%, this to 20%, throw that Arcanum, and that's a kind of costume that you always pull for if you need it. Right? So I think this is a solid costume. And even after this banner is gone, having this costume for any Earth setups later on is going to be great. He does come with the Earth weapon, but it's not going to be like Vincent's Earth weapon or Lucia's Earth weapon. It's only at 700%. But sub DPSs are super important. I ran a sub Vincent who was doing more utility than damage, but having that damage with a little bit of utility or vice versa, right, made the difference of passing the content and not passing the content. So instead of having two solid DPSs, one DPS had the utility setup. In one, Sephiroth's weapon here does both. It does damage and utility in one cast for 4 ATB. Right? Those are very powerful setups. I know it's not what you're looking for to have that super strong one big giant hit. You're still going to do a really giant hit with 700% because you're putting down Earth Resist and you're saving your other DPS from wasting time of buffing or debuffing. So now the healer is buffing everyone. Sephiroth's coming in, debuffing Earth Resist, and Vincent's going pew, 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 pew constantly. Right? So this makes it that, yeah, Sephiroth's not doing the most damage, but the DPS over there is, and he's putting enough work to make the difference. So this is very powerful. In the sense of pulling it by itself, yes, it's still going to be very strong. It's not limited. Vincent is, and that's why there's a big difference in damage. But take away Vincent, take away Lucia. If this was like the only Earth thing we had, even with Lucia in the game, this is still very strong. The fact that in one cast he can do 700% potency with Earth Resist down and great R abilities, I think this weapon's fantastic. Even at OB6 over here, 620 with Earth Resist down, you're going to see big damage against Earth enemies. It's got Triangle Sigil. Again, every weapon should have Sigil breaks by this point. 674 magic attack, and these R abilities make this build so easy to go, and also it's a good another Earth weapon. We're missing boost Earth in this game. We only have, I don't even think we have one weapon that's boost and Earth together, so it'd be nice to see one of those in the future. But for now, Blue Bramble, this is an S tier weapon, very fantastic. I love it. Costume is great. If you pull for Sephiroth, you won't regret it. Will you regret it compared to Anniversary stuff? probably, but anniversary stuff is most likely going to be limited, meaning that you have to use weapon parts or pull on that day or month, versus you can OB10 this weapon eventually. So the costume, when you're pulling on banners, you're pulling for costumes, not weapons, unless it's a limited banner. So investing into this costume and then wishlisting this weapon later is not a bad investment. It really isn't. It's just bad timing with the anniversary. If anniversary was nowhere nearby, whew, I would say, yeah, Sephiroth, great setup. Now, if you guys want to build Sephiroth and you did pull for him, you're going to use his Shinra Blade on the offhand. You're going to use Yuffie's weapon because it puts boost Earth to 52. With main handing that new one, you're going to be at 65 points, which is 100% Earth potency, and that's what I aim for in every elemental build. These two are just bonus if you can do it, but there's other things that can give more damage and utility on the build. So in 1, 2, 3, you are already maxed out on boost attack. You have your magic attack. You have boost attack that needs to come up now, but you also got boost ability potency as a bonus. So what you do is you throw in Vincent's weapon, right? It's got that rest of that boost attack there with 26 points into boost magic, and we have another one with 19, putting us at 70% damage up. When you mix this with Red 13's collar, 31 boost on here, you're now maxed out on boost attack, and you're going to be killing so much with this entire setup. I think this is great. The reason I mentioned the 26 over here, if it's by itself, it's 45%. If you bring in something else like Barrett's gun or anything that has it, then sure, but Red 13 is going to be mixing his 39 with 39, right? You're going to get 30% boost here, plus that 26, which is that 70% that I mentioned. So, sorry, 75. So 30% from that combo together, plus this, 75% up. There's other things you guys can do, but I feel like this is one of those where it's pretty strong, pretty straightforward. You could change Red 13 for boost attack, but you're going to lower your boost attack, which kind of sucks, right? Because right now we got 31, and then we got 38, right? It's a little overkill, but another thing you can do if you did pull for Vincent's weapon and you're not going to use it, or you pulled for Zack or Sephiroth's old limit break weapons, you could put that here instead, and that way it's 14% boost to everything. So you'd rock 1, 2, 3, and then the 14% limit break weapon here. So that's the kind of setup you want to look towards as Sephiroth. The thing that you're going to have to change here, Lucia's weapon might have to go here. If you do have Vincent and Vincent's your main DPS, he is using this weapon. This is part of Vincent's main build, so it won't be available for Sephiroth, so you should be pulling for Lucia's weapon while also upgrading your Vincent's to OB10. If you don't have a Vincent, then yeah, you take Yuffie's weapon. If you do have a Vincent, you put Lucia's here instead, and you can do whatever you want here. But these are generally the most used weapons when it comes to magic builds, so you can't go wrong wishlisting them because they can be used for other magic setups as well because they have so much utility. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, Sephiroth and Lucia's banner is solid. Banner itself is straightforward. There's only one weapon, one costume, and then a costume, not even another guaranteed weapon. So you have to go to page 3 to get that other guaranteed weapon. So it's one of those, just pick one of the costumes, jump out. My recommendation is Sephiroth. Lucia, I still haven't really used Lucia this entire game, and I'm totally fine. That can be said about any character, because as long as you work on a character, they work, but it is up to you guys what you want to do. If you main these guys and you love the way they look, go for it. If you don't, skip it. Anniversary. Let me know what you think down below. Are you guys going for this? What are you skipping? What are you saving for? There's so many banners going on right now. So many banners that just happened. And banners are always going to be there in multiple. Like there's going to be 1, 2, 3 banners constantly live. New players are coming in. New quests are coming out. There's always going to be something to pull for. Doesn't mean you have to pull for everything. It's just when you're ready and that's what you like, go for it. If you're a new player and you want to catch up, go for the most powerful ones, the ones that have arcanums to get you that DPS, then start working on a healer with utility. So, besides all that, thank you guys for so much for watching. I feel like I just bam, 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 bam with my talking, but thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.